Family, it's your favorite queer radio personality, Anna DeShawn, and this is another edition of Queer News Live. Family, you already know what this is. This is Queer News Live, our Queer News Live show that comes to you every Monday at 7 o'clock Central and every Thursday at noon. You know, we drop a new episode every Monday morning, yes, with 5 or 6 queer news stories I think you should know about at the intersections of race and sexuality as it pertains to politics, culture, and entertainment. I am your favorite queer radio personality, and I am excited today. I'm so glad y'all joining us because we have a special guest, the one and only, okay, Mercury Stardust is joining us today. So if you're joining specifically for that interview, hold tight, okay? Because she is with us and she can't wait to join us. Yes, she's known as your trans handyman, okay? And she been doing her thing on the internet for quite some time. And she gonna help us today. I need some help. Okay. And so I'm excited to talk to her about not only the work she's been doing, but the work Mercury has planned. Yes, because we all need to be pre-ordering books. But first things first, family. You already know we dropped a new episode today. And it's one of those episodes that it takes you on a roller coaster ride. Y'all already know what I say. If you can't take the doom scrolling, right? You tune into the podcast to stay informed. I like giving the good news, but at the end of the day, sometimes we can't escape the bad news. And this morning, we had to start the pod with a moment of silence, right? We are remembering what happened in Merlin. Yeah, I'm sure y'all have heard about it. And if you haven't, let me just tell you what's going on. On Saturday, Berlin was celebrating Pride. They call it Christopher Street Day. And if you know anything about being queer here in the United States, Christopher Street is the street. It is the street in New York where Stonewall Inn is located. It's the street, in Greenwich Village that we honor, right? As the beginnings of the modern LGBTQ movement, where the brick was thrown, right? And so they call it Christopher Street Day Parade. That's their homage. And they've been doing this for decades. But on Saturday, Abdul decided to take a white van and drive it through the crowd. Now, the folks in Berlin, they expect up to 1 million people to attend this parade every year. Like, it's one of the biggest in Europe, and he killed one person whose name has not been released, and 20 some odd others have been injured because after he ran his truck through the crowd, he actually got out of the truck and stabbed some folks. The local authorities did find him. He has been killed, and there's lots of questions as to why, right? And in this moment, we mourn with Berlin. In this moment, they had a visual. Y'all know it's a time difference, yes. And so while we were sleeping, they were having a visual, and this is a picture from that visual. And people are leaving candles and pictures, and it's just been a devastating moment, you know. And I'm opening our newsletter. We drop a newsletter every week with our top queer news stories. And this week, I'm starting the newsletter by just explaining and talking about the balance and just of what it means to be living at all these intersections, Black, queer, and a woman. On any given day, one of these identities is under attack, right? And on any given day, one of these identities is finding a whole lot of joy. And at any given moment, that joy, right? Someone's trying to take a hold of that joy and steal it away from me. And I'm talking about how this past weekend, I just had the most amazing experience here in Chicago with the WNBA All-Star weekend. It was like if Black lesbian pride existed, it was All-Star weekend. It was jam-packed, promoters, parties, networking events, opportunities, fun, just fun this whole weekend. And then I came home and heard the news about Berlin, right? And so, family, in this moment, I really just want us to continue to think about what joy looks like for us. Yeah. And how we fight back in these moments and how we move through these moments. And I do believe we do it in community. And so at the end of every podcast, right, I end with Anna's Got a Word. And today my word was about swagging and surfing. Now, if you've seen any of the WNBA recaps, you may have seen the moment where the whole stadium, all 19,000 plus people, swagged and surfed together. Like literally, the MC told us, okay, he said, I want you to stand up. I want you to put your arm around your neighbor and we about to swag and surf. And literally 19,000 people did this in unison, swagging and surfing, just like this. Now, I knew my neighbors, okay? I was with my friends, but there had to be other people who were surrounded by people they didn't know, right? And it was just a real reminder to me of what it looks like, right? When we can just do something in community and in unison and in together, and how good it feels, just how fun it can be. And in these moments when we're living through this hellscape, y'all already know what I'm talking about, okay? It felt really good to do something together. So, as you move throughout your week, family, find a way to swag and surf with your community. Do something for somebody, hold somebody close, give somebody a hug. Because let me tell you, it just felt really good. It really did. So, family, I'm excited that y'all are joining us tonight. Please chime into the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Yes, because we love to show y'all some love. And let me not take another moment away from this interview time that we have with Mercury Stardust. Mercury, join us on Queer News Live.
Hi, how you doing, Fred?
Yo, Fred, I'm good.
Yeah, it sounds like us as a queer community have had a couple days.
Yo.
Wow. I always feel like there is such a link to the despair of being a trans queer person in the world right now, but also like the pure joy that we can have just being in community with one another is wild. I've never been at a WNBA like game, but I've always wanted to. I've been a fan of it for a hot minute, but like a casual fan that tunes in when she remembers it's on.
Well, let me tell you, you will feel right at home at a W game. And every time I go, I feel like I didn't walked into another LGBTQ community situation. I see family members all around, and we all need to have a good time and to celebrate these women, these amazing athletes compete. It's a time. You definitely got to go.
Yeah, no, I absolutely have to go. And also, so many of them are in solidarity with trans women as well. That like, it just feels like, I don't know, it just feels like a loving space to be in that can celebrate excellence in a space that doesn't feel like, let's make sure we also talk about, our looks and our hair. And, you know what I mean? Like, so much of anything that's involving women is so driven by what people are perceiving us to be that I feel like in the last couple of years, it feels like we're celebrating the excellence of the sport a lot more than we used to. But that's a side note. But I just wanted to tell you that I see you and I know it's rough.
Thank you, Gregory. And this is, and I shared that, I wanted to share about Berlin. It was our top story today, of course, but also sharing the joy. Like, this is where we're at right now. This is what we're living through, and we all have to find a balance in how we take it in, how we take the information in, and how we move through this moment. Because what they want to do is still our joy, and that's the one thing we can't allow them to do.
I mean, there's real rebellion and revolution within joy, right? Like, there's a lot of, to be joyous right now as a queer human being feels kind of like a rebellion. And it feels like we're refusing like the shackles of that part of the oppression, like I don't know, just the other day, Trump goes on, national television and talks about Dylan Mulvaney, who's a friend of mine, who talks about her as a trans woman, drops her a bunch of times, and Dylan does a video where she's all smiles, makes a lot of fun about it, and then talks about musicals. I mean, so much of our joy is in spite of it all. I wish we didn't have to do that. I wish we didn't have to be smiling and joyful in spite of all of it. But I am really glad that us as a community, I mean, it's like what gets us through it all,
I agree. And family, if you're tuning in and you're like, Anna, I'm glad you're talking to Mercury, but who is Mercury Stardust? Let me take a step back, okay? Because I got a bio. I got a bio to read, and I can embarrass Mercury right now by reading a little bit of it.
That's right. You haven't introduced me officially yet.
We just start talking. Okay, we just start talking because that's what we do here. All right. Family, let me tell you, Mercury is a #1 New York Times best-selling author. Mercury's book, Safe and Sound, a renter-friendly guide to home repair. All right. Now, she's known as the trans handyman. Mercury shares information geared towards renters who need help fixing their homes, moving into their first apartments, and navigating the complexities of dealing with landlords. Now, Mercury has over 2 million followers on TikTok, 1 million followers on Instagram. Mercury's brand of compassionate education has warmed hearts across the globe. And Mercury also raises money for nonprofits. If you've seen Mercury raising money on the internet, and you've just been doing the good work. What you got over there? What are you doing?
I have my second book too. It's a Lost and Found, a compassionate guide to owning a home. I'm really excited about this one. This one comes out in September 17th. So you can pre-order it right now. Highly recommend it. You can pre-order it wherever you get books, and you can get both books now and have a little complimentary. My spouse did all the illustrations on this book, including the cover of this one.
Really? So, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my spouse is a professional tattoo artist and has done most of my tattoos. So I asked them if they would do it, and then they drew a bunch of pictures of our cats in it as well. Which is the most clear thing that you could do. Hey, you want to do the book? Of course I do, as long as I can draw our cats in it.
and so the cats have made it. I love this. And so, family, what I've done is I've got a ticker at the bottom. Yeah, place your pre-orders. MercuryStardust.com. Go there. Do it local. Right, we like local bookstores. That's what we do here around here.
Yeah.
And so, Mercury, this second book is about home ownership, right? So this is a little bit of a shift from the renters to the homeowners.
Yeah, I like to think of. So when we first did the first book, there was a lot of folks that were like, "You need to do a home ownership book because there's not enough renters that we're going to buy a book," which is so funny in so many ways. But they were really hell-bent on saying that there wasn't a market for renters. So I proved them wrong. I mean, of course, we did really well with the first book. But then I was like, okay, we built off of the foundational ideas of home ownership through a renter book, because intersectionality, if you're helping folks that are the most marginalized and the most affected and have the least, right, renters, then you're able to actually help a lot more people. So we have a lot of fundamental ideas of maintenance is in the first book. And then it kind of gravitates to, that next level, which is that home ownership, right? That I didn't own a home until just 2 years ago. I literally bought a book so I could write about owning a house. And I learned a lot in that first year, and a lot of my journal entries are literally in the book, and there's audio recordings of me sometimes crying about things, about owning a home, but also a lot of real world advice about how to, how to take care of a hot water heater, how to take care of any gutters or any type of lawn care and all that jazz that you might have. So yeah, it kind of is a shift for renters, but it's more like a natural evolution of it all, instead of it being like, a car crash.
I love it. I love it. Now we got people in the comments. Let's see what folks are saying here. What's going on, Jeanette? We got to get you to the Blue Retreat. Absolutely. I would love to come to Blue. Come on. Uh, it's been on my list. Crystal says, Mercury, you got to go to a W game. You got to go to a W game.
And now I have to.
You got to go.
Can we
You
go
got to go.
together? Can we go together and make videos about it?
Hell yeah. Tell me when and where. I am in.
Take me to a game.
You know what we're gonna do, Mercury? We're gonna tell Kathy Rena, because she's the one that connected us. We're gonna tell Kathy to take us to a game in New York, and then Kathy can then make sure that we meet Ellie. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna conspire with Kathy.
Can we also make sure Kathy comes with us? I know Kathy is a sports gal, but I'm just gonna assume, because she's a lesbian, at least some sports chicks.
This is a safe assumption, and she supports all of this. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got in here in the comments. Owning a home is a scam, but I do like picture books. Yes.
I think that sentiment is so real in so many ways, for multiple levels, right? I feel like so many of us don't ever feel like we can actually own a home. I mean, up until the internet happened and I got so lucky with the world that I now live in. I mean, I was in so much debt, like $55,000, I think, at the highest point. My credit score was like 450. It was so bad, just trying to get by. I had 2 jobs just to try to make it all happen. And then the internet happened. And very fortunate that my life kind of went in a very different direction. But for the vast majority of people that are like my age, around 38, 39, 40, I feel like so much of our adulthood has been, oh, you're going to eventually get there. You'll eventually get there. Yeah, houses, And it's like, what the hell are you talking about? There's no way. It's almost like you're winning the lottery. And then when you get the house, when you actually get the house, there's so many problems with the house. Like a lot of houses that are in the price range that people can afford, and it's so different all around the country, but a lot of people who can actually afford the houses are not the houses that are ideal, that are houses that are 100 years old. Lots of folks. There's a whole section in the new book about houses that are over 100 years old.
Wow.
Because they have a whole different ball of wax with it. So it's like, yeah, you're going to save money because, now it's an investment. Oh, it's an investment now. Now you don't have to, pay someone else. You get all the money, but you also have to do all the lawn care, all of the maintenance, all of the upkeep, and also your mortgage is going to change from time to time, and then your taxes are going to be different. You know what I mean? Like it can be a lot for your brain to handle that first time, but it's still in this country a privilege to own land, to own your property. And I think that's really important for us to be mindful that, like, there's a lot of people who won't even have that opportunity. So it's really easy for us to be like, it sucks to be a homeowner. But there's a lot of people who won't even have that, experience. And that's terrible,
Yeah.
So,
you're not wrong. Let's see what else the people saying. Home ownership is an expensive adventure. You sort of talked a little bit about that. It is a very expensive adventure. And let's see what else is going on. Wait, you have to take care of your gutters? I know. It's a whole movie. And actually,
gutters are one of the most overlooked things that will cause the biggest repair problems, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. As somebody who's sitting in their home and needs their gutters cleaned, need gutter guards put back, because for some reason, climate change has brought Chicago tornadoes and trees and debris. And
question: do you like your gutter rollers, gutter covers? Are you a fan?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Place.
So in the second book, I talk about this, but the ones that I recommend are gutter rollers. So they're like, they're not foam, but they're like a wire brush that fits your size of a gutter. And they just insert into your gutter. Like it's the easiest installation. There's no screws or anything. It just goes right in there. But that wire brush that is just round acts as a way to like, okay, all the leaves are coming down, and then you just like rotate and turn and go out. They don't get stuck as easily, right? That's the biggest flipping problem with gutter guards. It still covers everything up, and then it just defeats the purpose of even having a damn gutter, right? So I like the gutter rollers. I think they do a really good job. They're available basically anywhere you want to buy stuff, but specifically Amazon. But that is sadly one of the best places to get stuff like that, because Amazon effectively killed like the small hardware stores, and now there's not as many hardware stores that can actually have the things we need, unless we special order it, and that costs us an extra $50-$60 sometimes. So that being said, gutter rollers are the way that I would go. But yeah, that's what. And also replace your gutters with the bigger ones. I think the standard is like 4.5 inch or 5 inch. I would go 6 or 7 inches. And that makes a huge difference. And then your actual like downspout, people usually get the standards, but if you replace your gutters, everything is getting so much worse in the Midwest when it comes to rain and debris. I live underneath a locust tree that every like 3 or 4 years drops so many pods that it just like clogs everything. I have to have a massive gutter. So whenever you get a chance, just upgrade your system to a wider, thicker gutter, and you will be so much happier. I promise you'll be so much happier.
The way we just transitioned into my questions is just so beautiful. I love it here. Family, if you've got homeowner questions for Mercury, drop them in the chat. But don't worry. If you don't, I have plenty. Okay. And so, okay. So we talked about the gutters. Can we talk about plumbing now? Can we talk about plumbing? Okay. Because
yes, we can talk about plumbing.
My friend right here already put it out here. My favorite part about home ownership is paying lots of money for things no one would ever see, like plumbing. Yes. It's so true. It's so true. Black women stitch. So Mercury, what happens when your sinks get clogged? Okay, and everybody tells you don't use the bad stuff that's gonna hurt your plumbing.
Yeah.
Don't solve the problem. Mercury, what we do?
That's so funny because in the first book, I cover this a lot in the first one. So we got chemical drain cleaners. That's what you're talking about, right? Everyone loves to talk about chemical drain cleaners. They're not all the same. They're all different chemicals, right? So Drano is going to be really good for like grime, grit, for like, anything that's like more sludgy. That would be better with Drano. If you have hair, right? Lots of hair, especially if you have coarser hair, the only product that's going to be able to eat that away, to be able to actually do that job, is products that are made out of 100% pure lye, right? Lye is a chemical that you can put into your drain and then run water, and it will react and kind of like burn away and eat away at your hair, okay? Lye is safer than using Drano and other products, and it might not eat away at your pipes if they're cast iron as much, right? There's a lot of debate about that out there, about which one is better. But at the end of the day, none of those chemicals that you can get over at a store that won't give you chemical burns, as someone who's got chemical burns before, can eat away at all of it safely. Because all of those chemical drains, even if you use 100% pure lye or use Drano, all of it is doing is loosening up the clog and sending it farther down the drain, right? So if it's eat away all the hair, that doesn't mean that all that grime and grit that is in there and mixed in with that hair isn't going to just go down farther and find something different. And the farther that those chemicals go down your drain, the weaker they get. So if you have an 8-foot or 10-foot or 15-foot clog that is down your drain, and you are putting chemicals in your drain, especially the recommended doses, so you don't actually cause further problems in your drain, it's probably not going to be strong enough to actually do much at all, because your drains will be moist because they have a lot of water in them, but it will also have to go through a puddle of water when it goes through your P-trap. Because your P-trap, which is right underneath your sink, is where all the water hole is there. There's a whole bunch of little water there. So you pour down that stuff into your sink, it's going to hit the water first and dilute it completely, or a lot, and then it's not going to really have a whole lot of effect when it goes down there. So I am a big opponent of using either a pistol grip hand auger or a Cobra skinny drain cleaner. The Cobra skinny drain cleaner, I think currently is like $12. Almost anywhere. They're really easy to use. I got tons of tutorials on my YouTube and my TikTok and Instagram and my Facebook. And then the pistol grip hand auger, I have a few tutorials as well. That's about $25 to $30. The pistol grip hand auger can do almost everything from renters all the way to homeowners for most clogs. If you're not someone who's super confident and you feel like you're going to get a wire stuck in your plumbing because that's just your luck on a Wednesday afternoon, then I'm going to say don't do a pistol grip hand auger. That's when you call a professional, right? Because a pistol grip hand auger is usually 20 to 25 feet. Sometimes you'll get a 30-footer in there. But those can get stuck. I've never had a problem where they get stuck and I can't get it out. But if you're panicking, you're not always thinking straight. And sometimes, the littlest thing can get you and prohibit you from getting over that like emotional hurdle jump when you're trying to learn a new skill, and taking baby steps. You don't have to do it all at once, right? If you really hate the idea of using an auger or a snake to go down into a drain, then try a chemical drain cleaner. Just know that all of them are going to do different things. And some of the biggest scams out there are the ones that claim to be a miracle worker. Anything that says miracle worker on it, or anything that says like pipe safe, is so full of crap. Just to give you a little bit of an idea, if you live in a place that is older than 30 years, you probably live in a place that has cast iron pipes. And cast iron pipes they can deteriorate over time. We are finding out the pipes are 100 years old now, might be having some problems. And that's causing a lot of issues for a lot of homeowners who are living in older houses. But what's happening inside the pipe is that cast iron is like deteriorating and starting to become like having like burrs inside of it. So when, things go down there, those burrs are going to grab it like you're running through a field full of like burrs, like the stupid things that stick in your pants in the summer. And that's not fun. And it's just going to get stuck in there, right? So that's why cast iron does that. But then if you use chemicals in a PVC, like plastic, which is so common in renters and new places now, it can cause problems in a different way. So anyways, that's a lot of knowledge about where your poop goes.
Let me tell you something. And let me tell you, the chat is on fire. Okay, we got people in here. What's going on? I'm a fan of a rat tea. Okay, we love it. Also, I'm a fan of a metal rat tail comb to pull out the hair clogs. That's what I use in the salon. Okay, we love these tips. Wow. Then we got the Black Podcasters Association. What's going on? What about using snakes? Because done improperly, they can make things worse, right? And how do you know someone knows what they're doing?
So the Cobra skinny drain cleaner is what you would call a snake, right? What's the difference between an auger, a snake, or a drain cleaner? Sometimes size and thickness will be.
You know what? We're going to leave this on home ownership today, Mercury.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
I see where you're going with that.
Every single butch lesbian I know is showing up to a place with a backpack, being like, "Oh, different kind of snake." Anyways, so I would say that what can cause the biggest problems is wanting to go above it from the sink instead of going below where the P trap is, right? Most of clogs can be solved by just taking the P trap off and cleaning it and going up to your sink from down below, right? If that makes sense. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. I do know what you're talking about,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
the P trap is where most things will go and live in there, right? It's there for backflow prevention, so you don't get a smelly house, right? That backflow prevention going down and then up actually prevents sewage from backing up and any sewage smell coming up into your home. That little extra pool of water is actually what does it. So it's a good thing. If you had a straight pipe that went right to your drain, you would have all kinds of issues, and we don't want that. But it does mean that you do have clogs that will get stuck in there. I always think of prevention being better. So like, even though it's disgusting, especially if you work in a salon, I don't know if there's a great solution here. I know a lot of people come up with like quick and easy, things, and they never do it. But I like the tea shroom. I don't know if you know this product, but it like fits right into your drain, and it's like, it almost looks like a mushroom, and it will collect the hair and then let the water go through it properly, but it won't let all the hair go through. And instead of it being one of those like almost like a cover with holes, because those don't work, because like all the hair covers it up and it doesn't let it drain anyways. A tea shroom kind of allows the water to go through it still without it being completely blockage. So I like a tea shroom. You got to clean it almost after every major hair product, right? Like anytime you do anything with hair or any with a client, you're probably going to need to clean it every time, but that makes it really hard. Don't do the drain funnel. There's products like the drain funnel that do this thing where it just puts a little bit about a hair at a time into the drain. And that works in a perfect ideal situation. But if you're a salon, especially, I think that's just asking for problems. The volume of hair that you're putting down the drain is crazy. And also the majority of salons I know are not in new buildings. You know what I mean? You're in an older building that you have made look fabulous in spite of itself,
Yeah.
and it makes it harder when you have pipes that don't always agree with what you're putting down it,
Yeah. We got another one for you, Mercury. My favorite was being scammed into a new HVAC.
Yeah. Tell me more. Tell me more. Everything. I want to hear everything. How much of a jerky was. I want to hear everything about it. HVACs. For those who don't know, HVACs are. I love how I wrote a book about this, and I still do the thing where I forget what all the letters mean. Heating, venting, and air cooling. I think I got that right. I don't know. Someone's going to be like, she's full of crap. Probably. I wrote a book that I can look up when I get things wrong. But HVAC is basically your heating and your cooling in your house, right?
Yeah.
And it can be very expensive. One of the very first things I talk about in the book, the very first thing I had to do when we moved in October, and by November we had to replace the whole damn thing. It was $5,000, and I tell the full story in this book, and my editor was like, "You need to cut this story back. It is so long." I spent about $1,000 trying to repair it on my own without, like, I didn't want to admit that I had to call an HVAC specialist. So I kept ordering special parts that had to travel all the way across the world because the damn HVAC was like 30 years old and no one made any of the stuff anymore. I felt like I was like getting, drugs over the internet, trying to like be like, do you have the part? You have the part, right? Okay, you sure this is the part, that kind of thing. So it was a hurdle, but when I finally broke down, it was over Thanksgiving, so I had to pay extra.
Ugh.
for everything. Oh, it was terrible. So yeah, it happens to even the pros. I mean, I've been doing this work for 20 years and I still run into like, ah, shit problem. you know?
And what does preventative work look like when you're owning a home? You got an HVAC, you got your AC. You know what I mean? You turn on the heat when it's cold. You turn on the AC when it's hot. How do we
Yeah.
help? Prevent major issues. What does maintenance look like for these things?
Well, maintenance is going to be different in every single home in every single region. So it's always based off of where you are living, right? Not every single person has a water softener, right? If you're in the Midwest, you got a water softener. But if you're in Arizona, you might not have one, right? So it's a little bit based off of that. But if you want more of a detailed idea, it is in the second book. I go step by step, month to month, season to season of everything you need to know, when you might know it, and what will be helpful. But it's going to be the simplest things are changing your air filters it all across the house, right? Like twice a year. Do your behind the fridge, do your AC, do the HVAC, do even underneath your microwave, all of that jazz. Do your filters at least twice a year. If you want to, you can usually get away with once a year, but I don't think there's any harm in doing it more than you have to, especially because a lot of us live with kids and pets, and you add in those elements, and all of a sudden there's a lot more things happening in the air in your house. Air purifiers are a great investment for a lot of reasons. In houses, they can really save your appliances. And I don't think people think about that very often when we think about air purifiers, but they do. Another big aspect is making sure that your hot water heater is drained out and flushed out once a year. Boy, will that save you a big, big bill and extend the lifespan of your hot water heater. A lot of people will find out about it and be like, oh, you're supposed to do that? But they would have had it for 4 or 5 years. And then they go do it, but then the bottom of it already rusted out. So they flushed it out, but now by flushing it out, they actually, now all that sediment that was hiding the rust hole is now open and it is causing larger problems. So like, be aware of those things when you're doing this stuff, that like sometimes when you are someone who's dealing with someone else's choices, when you're a homeowner, right? When you move into it's generational trauma, baby. You are dealing with your parents' decisions or other people's decisions that you had nothing to do with, and now you're stuck with a therapy bill, right? Essentially, what it is, and you do the best that you can with what you got, with what you have. And the best thing that you can learn is learning how to watch videos online and how to dissect that information. I talk about this a lot in all of the stuff that I talk about, but never trust one source. Always watch 3 videos minimal, right? And always watch them from 3 different perspectives. Right? Don't watch it just from 3 different people who are all professionals. Watch it from 2 people who are professionals and maybe one person who has absolutely no idea what they're doing. You'll learn so much from that person. But those things are really important. And I think that there is no one size fits all for any home ownership. There just isn't. There's way too many houses and way too many economic locations with way too many environmental problems, especially now in the world that we live in, where I feel like now in the Midwest, we had to worry about, smog and smoke in a way that we haven't had to worry about before. Air quality, I should say, being such a big deal now when it wasn't before, for us anyways.
Right.
It's always been a big deal for the West Coast folks and people who might live in Canada, right? So
that's right.
All that being said, it's really about knowing the environmental and regional things that your house is going to experience, but then also know that it doesn't all have to be solved right this minute, the moment you walk into the house for the first time. Or if you had your house for 5 years, It doesn't have to be solved right then either. Just take note of it and keep track of it when you did it. Keep track of all of it. It's really important to remember when you actually did your roof last time.
That was one of the best tips I received when we moved into our home. And family, I got the banner going, right? Go pre-order your book. You're already here. Mercury got all the answers, okay? We want you to go out here and get this book. Yes. And then when you get the lost and found, just go ahead and get safe and sound too. Okay? This is what we're doing.
Yeah, when you get lost, you're going to get safe, you know?
That's it right there. Okay.
Also, did you notice that I did turn my hat back around for you because I wanted to match? I wanted to match your vibes. Your vibes were so good that I thought that if I turned my hat backwards, I would also be, you know, as beautiful and as like vivacious as you. So I was like,
you're so sweet, and you look very cool. You look very cool. This is it.
She said I look cool, everybody.
I promise you, family, that tip about keeping a book of all of your vendors, all of your people, the people you wouldn't recommend again, when you got something fixed, and just keeping it in like a binder or a folder will save you so much.
It's like you read my book. This is crazy. I actually wrote about that. We used to, in the maintenance world, we call them schedules. And schedule is not being like when you're supposed to do it, but like a paint schedule would have all of the different paints in every single aspect of your house, right? Like when we moved in, we painted every room in the house. And of course, my spouse picked all the colors. So there's 25,000 gosh dang colors in this house. So I thought, hey, let's just steal that from the maintenance world and just take the color code from each paint can and mash it to each wall that we did that with, or accents or whatever, right? And you have track of that. The same thing should go with what size pipes that you're putting in and changing out in certain locations. All this might sound stupid, but documentation does matter. And as someone who really does believe in making people's lives easier after you, I think there's no better gift than to give the next homeowner a fucking binder of the things that you did in the house. I cannot tell you enough that is not something that anyone talks about, and it drives me bonkers. But like just having an actual like information, even if it's a Google Drive document, what you did, and having photos of what it looked like before, that matters. That matters a lot.
It goes a long way. It goes a long way. Family, I see y'all in the chat. Y'all helping each other. I love this. I love this so much. Mercury Stardust, thank you for joining me on Queer News Live today. And family, if you're not following Mercury, I don't know what you're doing, but Mercury is on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Mercury has a Substack. Mercury is everywhere, spreading the news about how we can take care of our homes and whatever apartment we're renting to. And you're making a big announcement. Today's Monday. We're recording this on Monday, July 27th. But on Wednesday, you're making a big announcement about your book tour, right?
Yeah, my book tour is going to be officially announced on Wednesday. And you can get all that information on all the places that I live on the internet. So, you know, YouTube, TikTok, the Instagram, Facebook, Substack, all those places. And we're going to be coming to a city near you. And I'll be doing my 1 hour show where I joke and laugh and talk about things I've broken. And then also I'll be signing books at all the various locations. Well, I think we're stopping at like 10 to 12 cities. So hopefully we're stopping in a city near you. So look for that on Wednesday.
Let's go. Look for the announcement on Wednesday. Mercury, thank you for all that you do for the community. Yes, thank you for all the fundraisers. Thank you for all the tips. Thank you for showing up as your authentic self, right? Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yes, indeed. You'll have to come back. Yes?
Yeah. No, you're taking me to a WNBA game. I am serious about this.
Me too, because I want to meet Ellie, and so does my wife, and Kathy can put this all together for us. So
honestly, we can just manipulate Kathy to be able to do this. I'd be like, no, it's for our jobs. It's for our jobs, Kathy.
I think so. It's expert research that needs to take
Yeah,
place here, and
I'm
you need
gonna
to go
be.
to a W game. You need to go to a
I'm
W game, and we all need to meet Ellie. I think this is the
I,
plan.
I am going to be in New York in October for my book tour.
The
So I'm
W will
just
be over by then, but we can
no shit.
plan.
I can know these things.
But we can plan accordingly. We can plan accordingly, Mercury.
Well, there's always next year. I'm just saying.
Always, always. There's always next year. Thanks again for joining me, Fred.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye. Family, yo. Mercury Stardust, you know what you need to do. You need to go pre-order the book, okay? Let me roll the banner again. Right down here. Go pre-order your book. Visit mercurystardust.com. And if you need the other book, go do that too. We must support those who support us. That's what we're doing here on Queer News Live. Family, go listen to today's episode. Lots of good stuff in there. We do talk about Berlin, but we're also talking about Raven-Symoné, right? Getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Also talking about the STEAM Awards that took place here in Chicago, celebrating Black LGBTQ folks. So family, there's a lot going on. There's the good and there's the bad. And what we know for sure is that when we stay together, right? When we lean into community, do swag and the surfing with each other, we gonna be okay. Join me Thursday at noon. We got Copper Top joining us, and we're gonna have a good time with Copper, okay? You already know we are Queer News done right.